Welcome back to Scott's Thoughts on the Real Estate Market. It is September 2025. Q3 is going to be over soon, and I know I haven't been great about getting a video out every month. We did have a new baby in the Chapman family, which has been super great and has taken some of my free time away. But we're back, and the market's pretty exciting. I'd like to take a look at the numbers overall, take a deep dive into a couple of things that I find very interesting, and I hope there will be something in there that will be valuable to you if you're considering buying or selling in the near future, or if you're just wondering what the heck is going on out there. We are going to be looking at Washington County stats today, so let's dive in. Inventory is our first thing. Inventory continues to hold around 10-year highs. New listings are up a little bit, and rate of sales is down slightly. You can see we've been holding around the same inventory level most of the year, right around 1,800 homes. The last time we saw about 1,800 homes on market was 10 years ago in March of 2015 is the last time we had this much inventory on market, and the last time buyers had this many options. And rate of sales back then was actually around the same, which I find pretty interesting as well. Obviously, for Washington County, people are now willing to pay a lot more overall than they were 10 years ago. Chalk that up to the nationalization of the housing market that we've seen here in the last few years. Absorption rate, just another way of measuring that. We've got about a 5-month supply of homes on the market today, and we've been hovering around there again for most of this year since the inventory spike in February. That just means if we stopped listing homes today, it would still take us 5.16 months to run out of homes. List prices, active prices. Last month we saw a $20,000 single month price dip in median active list price. And we haven't seen one that big again since middle of 2022, and that has held steady into this month. Now, median sold prices jumped back up to 538. Those are still within the range, the 590 to 550K range where it's been for the last 2.5 years, although we have been trending towards the upper end of that range lately. Until we break that ceiling, I'm very hesitant to say that we're seeing any substantial price changes one way or another. Now, if you just glance at the numbers individually for the month of August, you might be tempted to say, oh my goodness, prices are up 7%, median prices are 11%. If you look at the average, that's a huge price growth. What's going on in the marketplace? And this is one of those areas where I think if we dive a little deeper, we're gonna find a different story. And the first clue is if you look over here at the year-to-date numbers, 2025 year-to-date, 2024 year-to-date. So taking the whole year on average, every month averaged out, you actually see the average price is down 1.5%, and the median's only up 1%, pretty much a 0% increase or decrease on price one way or another. What we do see though, and this is going back to that single month growth, right? Why is it showing 10% growth year over year? So I ran this, and what you see here is just our different price ranges and what percent of the market share happened in each of those price ranges. And these are our biggest offenders. Is in the 400 to 450 price range. You see last year that accounted for 15% of all sales, and this year it only accounted for about 8%, about 7.5% decrease in that price category. And then if you jump up to the 500 to 750 price range, last year that was less than 30% of total market share, and this year was 38%, so up about 8.5% there. And so I think what we're seeing there on these numbers is you're just seeing this is more indicative of where the buyers are shopping this year relative to last year. This August, we happen to see generally the higher price points overperformed versus last year, and the lower price points underperformed just in terms of the number of sales that were happening. And so that, I believe, skewed the averages a little bit higher. Days on market, there's nothing new to report as far as this number goes, 77.6%. We've been hovering around that 80 days on market range. Again, for this entire year, there's just nothing new there, right? It is significantly higher than it was a year ago. We're up 28% on the average. We're up 51% on the median. Now, where it gets interesting though, if you again dive a little bit deeper into these numbers, so I took the liberty of creating this. If you look at days on market, when is the best time to sell your home? And this is representative of every home that sold in the month of August. And you can see there's some pretty interesting things we can learn here. So for example, over 1/3 of buyers in the marketplace chose listings that were on market for 30 days or less. Over 70% of buyers chose listings that were on market for 90 days or less. And if you look at that, right, your chance of selling in the first 90 days is more than double your chance of selling after the first 90 days. And so the list high and wait for a miracle buyer strategy is officially the worst pricing strategy you could use. This really quantifies it here. And it just goes back to that inventory, right? With so many options to choose from, when buyers see an overpriced property, they figure it'll be easier to walk away from that one and just browse their options, find a price that is more comfortable to them, find a home that's priced better, and just make an offer on that one because those options are there today where they might not have been 2 years ago. Once that days on market number stacks up, it can really stigmatize your home in a buyer's eyes. They're just gonna say, nah. You might think you can list high and, oh well, someone will just make us a lower offer and then we'll negotiate. But what we're seeing is buyers are not even seeing, let alone making offers on those overpriced properties. Again, they are just moving on to properties that are priced a little better, that they think the negotiation will be easier on for them. But I'm in no hurry to sell might be your answer, and that's all well and good, but without any clear signs of an increasing market, the data suggests that you'll have to do a bigger price reduction tomorrow than you would have to do today to get the same sale done, right? And this graph actually plots the difference between list price and final sales price, so the percent price reduction on average in these days on market categories. So you see in the first 30 days, 1.7% price reduction on average was necessary to close the deal. After the first 30 days, bam, that jumps up to 4%, 5%. And after the first 90 days, bam, all the way up to 8%, 8.5%, 10.5%, 10%. These are averages, but it's really indicative of how important it is to price your home correctly so that it doesn't sit on market. Any realtor worth their salt is going to tell you this is the case, but here's some actual numbers. Again, every house that sold in August, these were the average price reductions according to the days on market number. If we had to put just a straight line on it, right, you can assume that every 30 days your home is on market, you're going to need to reduce the price by an extra 0.5% to get the sale done for every 30 days that you sit on the market. Very, very interesting. Some good news though, mortgage rates are down. About a month ago, we were sitting about 6.75, and about 2 weeks ago, we're about 6.5, and now we're down to almost 6.25. Very exciting. We're seeing the investors in the marketplace, they're starting to anticipate some change in the Fed's outlook for cuts to the federal funds rate, which of course that is not mortgage rates, but it does have an impact on the bond market, which ultimately does control these rates. There's some whispers in the air that bigger changes might be coming for mortgage rates. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy happening in the real estate market. I think if we dip below 5.99, that's going to be exciting, and some people are going to be ready to move then. But if we got below 5%, I think we'd actually start to see another frenzy of real estate activity, just like we saw in 2021, even though that's not as low as rates were back then. And that's a wrap, you guys. Obviously, there's a lot more numbers going on, a lot more to consider, but these are the things that I found very interesting in the numbers right now. Obviously, we're starting to lean more into a buyer's market, right? We got high inventory, higher days on market, and it's the sellers who have to really try to work hard right now to impress the buyers. Right now, it is super important to have a strong, competent professional in your corner to help you navigate this changing market, to help you figure out what is going to cause my home to sell. How can I get to be in the top 3 to 5 homes in my price category where buyers are actually wanting to take a look and make multiple offers? We actually are. Yes, we're in a buyer's market, but when the value is there for the buyers, they are making multiple offers, and we are seeing bidding wars still happening today. Thanks again for watching, you guys. We can't do this without you here at the Real Difference Project, as we seek to donate a portion of our commission to help local families in need. We certainly can't do it without you and your referrals, so thank you for your business and for our relationship, and I can't wait to see you next time. Have a good one.